Hello everyone, and welcome to another casual review. Today I'm talking about Oxenfree. Oxenfree is kind of like a mix between a visual novel and a walking sim. I would say that your choices matter more than in other walking simulators. You're often given like 3 dialogue options, and depending on how you respond, it can affect the ending of the game. There are times when you can choose multiple destinations and like what you do and what you tackle first, what you interact with. There are many different variations of how the ending combinations can go, and so it could warrant multiple playthroughs and you would get vastly different results depending on what your choices are. In addition to responding with different dialogue options, you also carry a radio in which you can kind of like tune in to activate supernatural things on this island that you're essentially stranded on. The game is a lot more creepy than I thought it would be, and despite the graphical style, they still managed to kind of give me the heebie-jeebies. I wouldn't call this game like terrifying though, more just like an eerie, creepy kind of vibe, which I really like. I like the eerie, creepy, mysterious vibes a lot more than the like freaky jump scares that other games and movies seem to rely on. Because dialogue is so important in this game, it very much hinges on the quality of voice actors. And I would say that this game certainly delivers on that voice acting. All of the voice acting, all of the writing felt organic and natural and something like what a real character would say. My main problem with the dialogue in this game, though, is that the only way for your character to respond to another character, you're kind of given like a quick little time limit on as to like how you respond to this conversation. And the time limit for your options runs out before the other characters are finished speaking. And so inevitably, you're usually going to be interrupting what the other character is saying, assuming that you want to get out your own words, because it is entirely possible that you don't reply at all with any words, but what fun is that, just being the silent character the whole time? And so it was kind of jarring, like interrupting what all the other characters were saying, because I wanted to hear what they had to say before I said my own piece, but that usually didn't happen. Another jarring thing was the music itself. The background music has that kind of like creepy, eerie vibe to it, where it's just like this consistent ringing noise sometimes and this like mysterious tone. But the music itself is so loud that sometimes it was difficult for me to hear the dialogue over the music, and the options are very bare bones. So I didn't have the option to like turn down the music so I could actually hear the dialogue. The only option was to turn on the subtitles, which, hey, at least I'm glad that that was available. There are other creepy factors to the game that kind of suck you in. For instance, like the camera will slowly wiggle back and forth, so it's never stable. It just always feels like there's an uneasiness to the world. It's an eerie feeling when your characters are just standing there talking to each other and the world around you is just kind of wiggling a little bit. The radio frequencies are also creepy. It totally adds to this vibe as you're just like walking across this abandoned, haunted island, as you're like trying to like tune in with this radio frequency, and you hear all that static, and then it's slowly like warbling, and sometimes you tune into an actual radio station that says like old-timey creepy things. But this radio is how you're going to be activating a lot of the elements that you're going to be interacting with, unlocking doors, activating puzzles. You can tune into really weird frequencies at certain locations that reveal certain aspects about the lore of the island. Sometimes it took a really long time tuning into the exact frequency that the game wanted me to tune into, and so eventually like it would get to the point where I'm like, I feel like I've gone through all of the radio frequencies and like nothing has been activated, and only to look it up and be like, what frequency do I have to do? And I just happened to just barely skip past that frequency. And so it was kind of frustrating, especially when you get your radio frequency expanded, and that opens up so many different radio frequencies that, like, when I'm just trying to activate a switch, I feel like I'm just standing there just tuning in through the radio, just trying to find the exact frequency that I want to activate that switch. It's a quick game. I want to say it was only a couple hours, maybe like 3 to 4 hours, depending on how much of this like side lore that you want to unlock, but it still felt long to me, just because I'm not really used to these walking simulator type of games, and so I just want to like run to my next destination. But the whole point is, in a game like this, that you're walking with your character and your character is talking to a different character, and they're just slowly walking to their next destination as like more of the plot develops and we get to learn more about the characters. And that's kind of the whole point about this game. But like, I just want to like activate the next story beat, you know? I just want to run to where I'm supposed to go. And this game does warrant a lot of backtracking back and forth across the island, depending on what your objective is. I got even more impatient when I was already navigating through an area that I've been to before. There are some long loading times as well. I played this on the Nintendo Switch, and I felt like you would encounter several loading screens, and they would all take, you know, maybe like 10 to 20 seconds, which can really start adding up over time. But overall, like, the story was interesting enough for me to want to pursue it. After the first 15 minutes, it was going pretty slow, and I was getting ready to just drop this game and move on to something else. But stick with it if you do try out this game, because it definitely gets more interesting once you start delving into the more supernatural aspects of the game. And there are plenty of very interesting, creepy, eerie, supernatural effects that are going on here. I will say that the story, while it was interesting and it was pulling me through as I was playing through the game, I did find the ending of the game pretty unsatisfactory. I don't know what I was hoping for or what I would be interested in, but I just felt like the ending of this game felt a little too anticlimactic for my liking. That might have just been based on like what my specific ending was. Maybe it would be a lot more interesting if I had chosen different options. I can see why this game was a really big deal and really popular when it was first released, but I just feel like I've seen this type of thing done better since then. I think I'm going to give this game a 3 out of 5. I liked it enough for what it was, and now I am interested in trying out the sequel. It just didn't blow my socks off like I was hoping it would. Well, folks, that's it for me. Let me know if you have any questions or comments about Oxenfree, and I'd love to hear what you have to say. Otherwise, I'll talk to you later. Bye!
Parks and Facilities Office. Friend's sister Allison used to work there. You'd like her. She's tall.
All right.